my yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach and welcome back to my crochet channel. Now today's video I'm going to show you how to make these super simple flowers. I'm calling them patriotic poppies, but really they look more like a daisy or a sunflower. And of course, even though I've made them in patriotic colors, you can make them in any colors that you would like. Now I designed this pattern a few years ago, and then when I did our Patriotic series, I was asked for a flower that could go on a hat or scarf or anything just in patriotic colors. So I thought it was a great time to update the pattern and make a new video. Now you can find the complete pattern with pictures on my blog, and as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. So these flowers measure about 3 inches across, so it doesn't take very much yarn. I stitched these up using medium weight number 4 yarn, and these are all I Love This yarn from Hobby Lobby, the same yarn I have been using for the Patriotic series. So just a small amount of any medium weight number 4 yarn. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need a needle for weaving in ends and a pair of scissors. And again, the amount of yarn you need depends on how many of the flowers you plan on making. For today's demonstration, I'm going to be making a royal blue center with the gold petals. So I've got both of my yarns here ready to go. Alright, so we're going to begin in the center of our flower, and we're going to make our slip knot, and then we'll chain 5. We're going to join this chain 5 into a circle. We'll make that stay knot so our circle doesn't come undone. And if you prefer to use the magic circle or another method for your center, you certainly can. We're going to go in, pull up a loop, and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as 1 double crochet. And now we're going to stitch 11 double crochets in this chain 5 circle. And our double crochet is yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, and go through the second 2 loops. So I'm going to stitch double crochets till I have a total of 12. And remember, count that chain 3 as your first double crochet. Alright, let's see how many I've stitched. Here's my chain 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need 2 more double crochets. Whoops. There we go. Alright, 11 and 12. Alright, so we're going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch. Alright, I'm going to make a little chain 1 just to keep that from coming undone, because I'm going to turn this over, grab my needle, gently pull on that string, and close up that hole. Now you can do this at the end when you're finished with your flower if you want to. I just like to go ahead and get it done and out of the way. So I'm going to go around those stitches. Close up that hole, and then we'll just weave it back in the opposite so that hole doesn't come undone. No one wants a hole in the middle of their flower. All right. There we go. Now, for row 1, we have 12 double crochets in a circle and joined. We're not going to chain 3 or anything because we're going to be changing colors. I'm going to take out that little chain one. I just did that to hold it and keep it from coming unstitched. All right, so I'm going to put my hook in. I'm going to cut my yarn, and I'm going to bring in my gold. And we're going to chain, let's look at our notes, chain 3. All right, I'll make sure everything's snug down. Now we're going to go to the next stitch, and we're going to stitch 3 triple crochets. So we're going to wrap our yarn twice, but don't wrap too tightly, okay? We'll go in that next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the second 2, yarn over, and go through the third 2. That's our triple stitch. And we'll stitch 2 more of those in that same double crochet. And then we'll chain 3. We'll go to the next stitch and slip stitch. Pull your loop through, then pull that loop through the loop that's on your hook, and then chain 3. Now we'll go to the next stitch and stitch 3 triple crochets again. Chain 3, go to the next stitch and slip stitch, whoops, there we go, and chain 3. And so what we're doing now is we're making the petals around our flower. So we'll put 3 triples in the next. 1, 2, and 3, and chain 3, slip stitch in the next double crochet, and chain 3. All right, so I've made 3 petals. And you'll notice because we chained 3 but we made triple stitches, it kind of makes them curve a little, and that gives it a little bit more of a petally look. I don't know if petally is a word, but you know what I mean. All right, let's continue around and make those stitches for our petals. 3 triples, chain 3, slip stitch in the next, and chain 3. 3 triples in the next, we don't go in the same stitch as our 3 triples, we go in the next stitch. Just wanted to make sure I made that clear. All right, now I'm going to do my last petal because you're going to have 6 petals. Chain 3. Now we're going to go in that last stitch and just stitch a slip stitch. All right, let me go ahead and cut my yarn. And one thing I do want to remind you, if you're going to sew this on, make sure you leave yourself a long tail of yarn to sew it on. That'll just make it a little easier. So there are my 6 petals, and now I just need to weave in my ends with my needle. We've already weaved in the center one when we closed up the hole. And one thing that I do where I have these 2 where we go from the center color to the petal color, I do what's called just a stay knot. I just put them together like this and just give them just a little bit of a tug, and then I go ahead and weave them in. I think it helps them lay better. And when you're weaving in, you want to make sure if you're weaving in the gold or whatever color, you stick with that color. You don't want it to show through. And you just go back and forth on that last petal and make sure you're going through some fibers and some stitches. That's the key to getting a good hold with when you're weaving in. Okay, so now I do this blue one the same way. There we go. And I'll make sure I stick with the blue yarn. That way it doesn't have a pop of blue in the gold and look a little messy. And you just go back and forth until you're confident that that is not going to come undone. There we go. And then we have this last one, and we'll do the same thing. So here is my finished flower or patriotic poppy in royal blue and gold, and then of course all the other ones that I made. Lots of pretty colors. There we go. Nice assortment of patriotic colors. But remember, you can do these in any colors that you want to, whether they're patriotic or not. Purples, pinks, variegated ombres, whatever medium weight number 4 yarns you have in your yarn stash. Just have some fun and make a bunch.